Things are changing on the front lines of the opioid crisis. We're seeing it through a big group working on the front lines, our jails. They had to adapt because of the number of people overdosing in custody, especially with fentanyl being pumped through our state. Here's Anusha Roy.
You pull out naloxone when someone is having an opioid overdose to save their life. And it's being used by Denver sheriff deputies outside the jail regularly. But the drugs are also making it inside as well.
Whether that's in intake for those folks who are first coming into our custody off the street or in our housing areas.
Last year, naloxone was used 12 times inside Denver jail facilities. This year already, it's been used 13.
It's not, uncommon for contraband to exist in our facilities, and that does occur. And although we take lots of steps to keep any contraband outside the facility, occasionally those things do happen.
It means staff is getting additional training, especially because of fentanyl. And they've already been using PPE to protect themselves.
Could be an unknown substance maybe that we find on a search of someone who's in custody who comes into the intake area.
Extremely high risk would be our booking area.
In Arapahoe County, they're making sure that Narcan is next to every AED kit in patrol cars and available throughout their entire facility as they order more and more to keep up with demand.
So they do leave with that dose of Narcan.
We're including in here is fentanyl test strips.
Now the Denver jail is trying to meet people in the in-between phase when leaving their jail.
Roll this program out by April 11th.
By giving them a kit with naloxone, fentanyl test strips, and info on treatment options and a number to call to replenish their Narcan supply.
The debate and conversation continues about, is this a right environment for that to happen? Well, quite frankly, given the current circumstances, and not addressing those circumstances, but just what we're faced with today, I do believe we have a responsibility to provide those services.
Yeah, and that debate is far from over. Both of the facilities we heard from today said that they do have treatment going on inside, but the chief in Denver said those fentanyl strips are really meeting people in the middle because they know some people are going to leave their jail and they're going to continue using drugs or be around people who are using drugs. And the hope is that those fentanyl testing strips will help someone live maybe one more day, maybe a few more days as they are deciding, do they want to continue using drugs or do they want to pursue treatment?
It's interesting to think about how much this conversation has evolved. We've been talking about this here for years, but in the beginning, it was just a few people who were carrying this around. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that is really what struck me today when I was talking to the different jails was, you're right, over the years, we were hearing naloxone needs to be out in the public, but we were hearing it from advocates dedicated to this very issue, from doctors who were treating, patients coming in. But now we're seeing it, it's been in jails for years. We're seeing the maternity floor at Swedish providing it for new moms. We're seeing schools buying into it. I mean, it's been a long process, but we are starting to see kind of the philosophy and the chatter around this changing in Colorado.
And you've been talking about it along the way. Anusha Roy, thank you.